Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Adi, and today we have a team report from the first regional in North America of Regulation H Part 2. And I'm here with your Pittsburgh regional runner-up, Matt Tidd. How are you doing, Matt?
Hey Eddie, how's it going? I'm doing pretty well. You?
I'm doing great. I sadly couldn't go to the regional. I fell sick, but I'm feeling a lot better now, and I am happy to talk about this crazy, crazy team that you took all the way to the finals of this regional. But first, for those who don't know you, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, right. Like real talk. Who is Matt Tidd? Who is this guy? Comes out of nowhere, kind of. I don't know. So I've been around for a while, in VGC. So I started in like 2017 with Sun and Moon. Like my first regional was Toronto 2017, and I've been kind of around and haven't had that much like great success, but I've competed at Worlds 4 times. I've had some day twos here and there, but I definitely have like a reputation of being like a trick room guy or something, or I think some people even call me like the North American Jamie Boyd, which I'm okay with, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that.
It is hard to have a reputation of using weird stuff when you live in Canada, and especially when you live in Quebec. I feel like everyone there is always using crazy teams. We played we played a couple times when you guys would invade Toronto locals, and always terrifying to see what you have cooked up. And as you can see on screen with all the wild stuff that you've used over the years. And this might be one of the wildest teams that I've seen you use. So I am excited to hear all about it. And also, as you can see on screen, you've used variants of this team for the better part of the last 2 years. So tell me about how you came up with
Mhm.
this idea originally and how you ended up with these six Pokemon that you ended up bringing to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the whole like archetype that I'm kind of built here started in Regulation E, right? Because that was the first one with Teal Mask. So
Mm-hmm.
Sinistcha was out in that DLC, and immediately I was like, "This Pokemon's got Trick Room. It's got Strength Sap. It's got this crazy move that's like double stall burn." I was like, "Wow! Like I need to test this thing out. And really like caught my eye. But the thing was, everyone was hyping up the hospitality ability. I'm just like, okay, that's good, if you want to like keep, your bulky Pokemon for longer. I'm just like, but like with Strength Slap with Machigotcha, it has like enough sustaining healing power to just become a threat on its own. So basically, I started using the Reg E, and it was first like on like a hard Trick Room team. I know I had like an Armor Rouge as like the other Trick Room setter that I brought to Toronto. I think I went 5-4 there, or whatever. But I think the one I carried it over into Reg F because I still thought like the archetype was good. And again, you pair it with things like King Gambit with Iron Hands, and then I'm mostly using this Enamorasterian, which seems super weird, but on my team, on my playstyle, it actually like really fit well because it's doing a lot of damage and it's also immune to Amoonguss. So that's what really caught my eye with an Emerus. And again, this whole archetype, people have also named it, not me. People are naming it Tid Room. Like it's not Hard Trick Room, it's Tid Room because I just play it differently than other ones, than anyone else. So again, so with the Orlando team you have pulled up here, it honestly has pretty much the same pieces as my Pittsburgh team. It's got the fake out fighting type. Shout out Flesh Ends for Pittsburgh. Got King Gambit, got the Sinistcha, same exact set. Enamorus would be the Primarina now. Choice Specs, Terra Fairy. And then the last two mods, right? We had Gouging Fire and Walking Wake. Gouging Fire was like the fast mode, and then Walking Wake was the sixth one, and it was there to kind of like beat, the fringe matchups. Um, you know, fast Pokemon puts out a lot of damage. And then if you switch to the Pittsburgh team, you might see that there's a lot of similarities, right? Like what I just said. Gouging Fire is now Volcarona, still has Struggle Bug, as Gouging Fire had Snarl. Walking Wait's now an Archaludon, which just puts out a lot of damage. So again, the pieces were there, and I don't know. I just feel like I found something with Sinistcha, and I've just been trying to make it work over and over and over again. Doesn't matter what format. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. it's been cool to see you develop the team, and even just in Reg H, I remember that you used it back at Baltimore Regionals. You were on stream at Baltimore with I can pull up the paste here with this,
Yeah.
and of course I remember you played Ofamezi, kind of got cooked on stream, and then this time around you played Ofamezi on stream again, and got to cook him, which is cool to see the full 180. But yeah, so you started with this in Reg H. Talk me through, and then of course only two of these Pokemon got switched out. So talk me through
Yeah.
how this team has evolved over the course of Regulation H.
Right. So this was the first iteration of the team, and yeah, it may seem kind of weird. I know there's a lot of people talking about this when it when it got on stream. No protect. There's a Cinderace. What's Hariyama doing there? Like, I don't know. I mean, at the time, Primarina was actually like top five in usage. So I mean, people didn't question that, but it was more so the partners
Mm-hmm.
for this team. So again, Cinderace and Electabuzz was there mainly as like the fast mode, and again, it helped me with kind of like the fringe matchups. So Electabuzz was really it's Eerie Impulse, and that was meant to just like beat Rain. You know, you can Volt Switch the Pelipper, get your Hariyama in, get the Flame Orb activated, and then you had Eerie Impulse with like our Chaladons and stuff. So like it
Mm-hmm.
really couldn't output as much damage against you. Um, but yeah, the Cinderace that was mainly there for actually annihilate Mousehold because you just Terra Fire and you pick up either one, even if it's bulky Mousehold. Um, but the reason Cinderace didn't stick around on the team, I just found it to be too frail. It was really good in some instances, like Choice Banded U-turn with the Libero. Actually, it has like a chance to like Oko max HP, max defense, and DD female, which is actually really funny. It's like a 75% chance to KO. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so but during Baltimore, I kind of realized that I was using the core four mons more than Cinderace and Electabuzz. They were kind of there for sometimes I brought them, sometimes I didn't, but mainly like that four core Trick Room, uh, four mon Trick Room core really, really, really worked well for me.
Yeah. So I see that you switched it up at Louisville and you kept that King Gambit, but you switched it up entirely and then you brought it back for Toronto and you have a very similar take on that team. Same for core four with Volcarona and Garchomp, and then of course from Toronto, which was the last event of Reg H Part One, you have switched it up once again. This time with the Archaludon. And did you have Volcarona on that one? You did. Okay. So just
Yeah.
switched up the Garchomp to the Archaludon. So yeah, talk me through about why did you switch off this team in the first place for Louisville? What made you bring it back for Toronto? And yeah, how did it feel at Toronto?
Yeah. So coming up Baltimore, I thought that the team was worked well, but it needed a bit more work on it. And I found like Sinistcha really in Baltimore it didn't get to like do what it could do what it's best at all the time. Things like Annihilate or like Hydreigon teams at that point was really putting me off like Sinistcha and the King Gambit teams as well. Because I think that was like the first like big team in Reg H. The King Gambit, Volcarona,
Yep.
Terra Dark stuff, like that really it does some of those matches I really can't bring teacup at all. But so after that, I was like, okay, I gotta like try and reset, find other teams that I'm good with, and then so the Louisville team is more so like your hard trick room. You know, you got the Hatterene, you got the Torkoal, yeah, it was like Focus Sash and Mungus and stuff. That was meant to like trick room turn one all the time, and then you just go from there. So that Hatteran team was actually like an offshoot of my NAIC team in 2023, where I used like Hatterene with Torkoal, and there was like skill swap, right? It's skill swap Hatterene with the Torkoal, so you can beat Pelipper, and it also like protects Torkoal from Spore from Amoonguss, which is really funny. Um, but yeah, I tried this and I said, okay, let's take it to Louisville, see if it's any good.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up and it should end up going 6-0 into 7-1 to finish day one, and then I just missed top cut at 9-3,
That's
or
pretty good.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
missed
so
top cut at no 8-3, yeah. But anyway,
so you had this really good performance with this team. And yet for Toronto, I know Toronto, Louisville and Toronto was a pretty substantial time period. But yeah, you ended up switching off it back onto the Sinistcha stuff. So yeah, what was that decision like?
yeah, switching back. So I think the main reason I switched back is because Golden Goes were being more became more prominent. Everyone was on the nasty plot Terra Water Golden Go, and from my Louisville team, a lot of my Pokemon cannot hit Golden Go. I have a Porygon 2 that can't hit it. Hatterene can't hit it. Amoonguss can't hit it. Amoonguss can't put it to sleep. I have Temper Flare and Salamence just for a way to hit Golden Go. So for sure that was like the problematic matchup going
Mm-hmm.
into Louisville, and then it just kind of rocketed after Louisville, right? Because Andrew Zhang won it with the Golden Go stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, time to reset again. And I said, okay, what's my fallback plan? And the fallback plan was Teacup. Um, so I guess we're on like version 2 of this team now. Um, I was trying before Volcarona, so I swapped Electabuzz and Cinderace. They were the first two to go off the team. I first tested Garchomp and Magmar, and Magmar was it was pretty good. I was running it with Taunt and Burning Jealousy. Burning Jealousy was teched to try and beat Annihilate. Say if they go for bulk up, you can just Burning Jealousy and burn them,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was an interesting tech, but it really didn't work out. And I swapped the Volcarona kind of like last minute for Toronto. And the things that does better than Magmar. I was gonna say Malamar. Sheesh.
Mm-hmm.
Magmar is a struggle bug and also gave me Tailwind, which I feel like actually makes Primarina more dynamic because you can run it in Trick Room and you can run it in Tailwind. So you're kind of like a threat on both sides. And then Garchomp. So from this point on, I'm going to talk about a lot of like the six Mons on this team. So again, Cinderace was the first one. Meowscarada made an appearance before. And then for Toronto, I went with Garchomp, and it's a super cool Garchomp set. It's loaded dice with Swords Dance and Steel Shot, and this is meant to be kind of like a secondary mode, right? I have the Trick Room core, but let's say the Trick Room core doesn't work that well. I can go okay, game two. I can just go Volcarona, Garchomp, go Rage Powder, SD, and I can just kind of cruise because at +2 a steel shot is like taking out anything that's not a fairy type. Like Garchomp does immense damage when you get it in position.
Yeah. Um, and you did fairly well. You made day two at Toronto as well. And then of course, I know you just talked up that Garchomp. It is a really cool set. But it looks
Hmm.
like it got cut. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I love seeing teams like this that have over the course of and this is part of why I kind of don't like how formats end so quickly. I love seeing over the course of essentially 6 months. Honestly, for you, having used variants of this team in other formats too, this team has basically been like a year and a half in the making. And it's so cool to see it kind of come to fruition in this maybe final form. I don't know. Maybe you're going to cook up something new for Toronto regionals or whatever the next regional is. But or Milwaukee regionals, I guess. But yeah, I think it's true. I always love seeing how teams develop over time and what changes and what stays the same and how you've really perfected this team. But yeah, tell me about what dropping Garchomp for Archaludon and all the refinements that you made going into Pittsburgh.
So again, Toronto, I finished 8-3, whatever, top 64 or something. And the funny thing about Toronto is that all three of my losses were to the same archetype. They were to the Terra Dark, Black Glasses, King Gambit, Electabuzz, Volcarona, Rillaboom stuff. Um, and one of the main reasons why I was so weak to that team was that I changed last minute my item on Volcarona from Covert Cloak to Safety Goggles
Mm-hmm.
because I went Goggles to have a better mashup into Marco's Sun because that was like the big team right after LAIC.
Yep.
So I swapped to Safety Goggles, and then all these King Gambit Rillaboom teams they were leading Rillaboom King Gambit. They were just clicking fake onto my Volcarona and SD. I'm just like, well, if I had Covert Cloak, it it would have been a different story. But anyways, I digress. I digress. So going into when Regic was announced for its second go around, I immediately was like, okay, I gotta run back this team. It almost worked for me. Toronto again had one matchup that was a bit iffy, but again, it's because I changed the items at the last minute. I think okay, these six Pokemon are still solid. Let's test it out, see if there's any changes that can be done. But as you can see, there's no Garchomp anymore. So that sixth slot was actually a big debate a week before I locked in the Pittsburgh team. It was between Garchomp, Dragapult, and Archaludon. Archaludon was actually like the last one that was suggested to me by my friend Jack, because I really wanted a fast dragon that outsped base 100s or something, because I didn't want to deal with Will-O-Wisp or Indeedee Mail, all that kind of stuff that is is like faster than like Golden Go and stuff. But I still learn Archaludon because instead of being fast, um, it has sturdy, which basically means it's gonna get an attack off no matter what, unless they unless they double attack me. But again, I found it worked really well with the Volcarona mode, and it gave me like a faster mode to lean on and a lot more damage output from the start because that's what Garchomp was lacking. You kind of have to SD because Scale Shot's not picking up the KOs.
Hmm.
Kind of
Yeah.
like the same thing Dragonite has. Like Dragonite gets more room to maneuver because that's multi-scale, but Garchomp kind of has to worry about being one shot by Archaludon with Draco Meteor, Ninetales, all that kind of stuff. Dragonite gets a bit more of a luxury, and then with Dragapult, um, I liked it a lot. It was choice. I ran it choice banded, kind of like the normal set with Terra Blast Ghost or whatever. It did really well into a lot of like the normal comps, but again, I was having trouble with Dragonite because Dragon Ball can't Oko Dragonite turn one unless you go Outrage and hit the correct target. So because of Dragon Darts, you can't really do that. Um, so again, I settled on Archaludon. I really only tested it maybe I put on the team maybe 5 days before going to Pittsburgh. It was like the Sunday before when I brought it to a League Cup, and it did pretty well. So I just locked it in and said, okay, the team's moving, and that's pretty much it. That's how I got the team.
Sweet. Yeah. And so uh walk me through the team. You've again, I think a lot of these Pokemon are Pokemon that people have not seen before. Obviously the Arch and the King Gambit. Actually even the King Gambit's a little weird. Like the like everything's a little weird. Everything's a little off on this team except for
a
maybe the Arch.
little bit,
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit, yeah.
But yeah, talk me through all the choices that you made on this team. Why you trained the Pokemon the way you did, the Terra types, all that good stuff.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with the teacup. So again, uh, like I said, like I started using it right away, and I've always been on heat proof. I've never once thought about hospitality. If I'm running Calm Mind, Sprint Sat, Machagacha Trick Room, I'm running heat proof. Because most of the time I'm going to be leading in trick rooming anyway, so I'm not going to have the luxury of hospitality unless I'm playing around and swapping it out. So again, the team was pretty much built around the core, like I said, that came from Reg E. So it was Sinistcha, King Gambit, and Horiyama. Those are the three mons on the team. King Gambit, great partner for Sinistcha. Resist Ghost, resist Dark, um, and also like punishes the Golden Goes, which really Sinistcha cannot do well into unless I get a couple calm minds up. So King Gambit was for sure never leaving the team. It's always going to be their trusty partner to Sinistcha. Horiyama, again, it used to be in Iron Hands. I just swapped it straight up Iron Hands for Flesh Hands.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I did try the gut set, but the reason it's a salt vest thick fat is really it gives you such a better time into sun teams and also size spam and stuff. I guess that's also why I'm Terra Psychic. I think a lot of people have been like, "Hey, why is it Terra Psychic? Why is it not Terra Water, Terra Steel?" I used to be Terra Steel, but Terra Psychic was actually something I changed 2 weeks before 2 weeks before Pittsburgh. It was to improve the side spam matchup, the hard trick from side spam, because I realized if I still Terra Psychic, Galay can't touch me, Torkoal can't touch me, Hatterene can barely touch me with Dazzling Gleam, but I can struggle bug him,
Hmm.
and then all that kind of stuff. So it and I was really and like compared to like other matchups, I was never clicking Terra on Hariyama anyway. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go Terra Psychic, and I'm only gonna Terra it for Suspend. And
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't play any in Pittsburgh, but I definitely like the option sometimes to because it's also in theory good against like Sneasler and Indeedee Mail and all that stuff
Yeah.
because like you resist close combat, so it's
It,
not bad. You're forced into Dire Claw, so I think that's better.
Absolutely. And I think that's the right way of thinking about it, where you're not going to tear this guy. If it's not your primary Terra on the team or even secondary Terra on the team, then you should find a matchup where it's going to be useful and seek it out and make it very, very optimal for that one matchup. And yeah, especially with Thick Fat, like think about like Armoroge and Delphox, and they just get entirely walled by this guy if you Terra Psychic, which is really cool. I just saw the Sinistcha mug. Oh, that's so cool too.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring it up, but yeah, there it is. You gotta rep my boy.
Oh, that's amazing. Sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking. Um,
Okay, so member number 4 would be Primarina. So again, this used to be an Amerasterian on the Reg. Let's call it the Reg F team, and I actually did bring Primarina to Vancouver in 2024, and then I swapped back to an Amaris. But Primarina has always been good. I mean, it has one job and it does it well.
mhm.
Um, Specs Hyper Voice, Specs Moonblast does a lot of damage. My fourth move is Hydro Cannon. I think some people are like, does it actually click it? I have clicked it in the past. I didn't click it at Pittsburgh, but it's actually pretty good if you're in some end games. Let's say like P2 Amoongus. If you really need to pick up the P2 before it can heal, you just Hydro Cannon, Terra Grass Hydro Cannon to avoid the Rage Powder. Take out P2, and then Hydro Cannon is a 2 KO on Amoongus. So you will eventually win. I think I win the 1v1 against the Amoongus anyway that way, depending on how much damage it has. But
Mm.
I don't know. It's a fun move.
Yeah.
Never.
And funnily enough, one of the things that we were talking about on Tub Takes, I'm sure you didn't look at the Victory Road Tour at all. You were a little busy this weekend. But this same Primarina set, I think it's the same Primarina set, actually won the Victory Road Tour as well on a very different team. So Primarina, like you said, very common at the start of Reg H. Really, no one was using it for the latter part of the format. And it sounds like it's making a big return, a big splash, if you will.
Yeah, it's back. What can I say? I guess I'm one of the one of the innovators. But I've
Yeah,
always been a Purina.
absolutely,
I was
and
a Purina
especially
in
that
Baltimore.
that choice spec set as well is really, I think, the one that has helped it come back into the format where that immediate burst damage and, like you said, being able to do so much damage even to things like Amoongus that resist it. And even thinking about the context of how you had built your Baltimore team, where you've taken off the Cinderace, you've taken out a lot of the burst damage, and so having that big damage dealer makes a lot of sense. It seems like it fits really well.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd say the choice specs helps out the most against rain teams, against like Archelon. Um, what like I can do, what one of my game plans is into Archelon rain is like lead Hariyama, get Trick him up. If I knock off the Archelon, I know it's in range of Moonblast.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Strong special water type definitely seems like it's strong against rain.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So talk me. I'm very excited to hear about how you play the team, but first we got to get through the other Pokemon. So yeah, talk me through the last couple Pokemon of
Okay.
the team.
All right. Well, I'll do them quick, but Volcarona, honestly, Volcarona is like the linchpin of the team.
Hmm.
Really, like it just enables the entire team to work well. Struggle Bug is great and 100% accurate. Snarl is super good. Rage Powder, good when I need it. And then again, Tailwind, uh, really gels well with Primarina as well as Archelon. Sinistcha as well. I'm not min speed on the Sinistcha, so I can even go fast with that in Tailwind as well. Uh, so the options are there. Again, the team really started as hard trick as a trick room team, but then now it's a tail room team, and I really feel like it makes the team it elevates the team a lot more than just being you know one dimensional.
Hmm.
So last year Chaladon. So again, this was the sixth mon, if you will. Um, I ended up going with the Terra Electric Electro Shot Power Herb set with Sturdy. Um, and the main things this is supposed to do is kind of pave the way for Sinistcha or Primarina to work well. So I often lead our Sheldon, and it kind of just is there to do a lot of, like you said, a lot of burst damage. It gives you it's like a fake choice specs, and it's also has a focus sash built in. So like to me, it's like the perfect mon for this team. Again, a bit slow, but it still outpaces the main Pokemon of the format, being Golden Go, Dragonite. Um, so again, it really like I'm ashamed it took me this long to finally be on Archaludon because it's been in the format. It's been like number whatever top five in the format, rain teams everywhere forever. But it finally took me until now to actually try it out and see what it can do.
Right. Yeah, that power herb set. I feel like people, maybe aren't exploring nearly enough. It's kind of hard to find a. It's hard to come to the conclusion it's the right mon for your team. But all those things that you said it does, especially outspeeding Goldango by a point and hitting it so hard, punishing the Terra Water that so many people like to use when you have a King Gambit and a Primarina on your team, especially, and a Volcarona on your team. Yeah, it seems like it fit really well. Now you have some really interesting EV spreads on your team. They all seem very refined. Do you have some calcs in mind that you want to share, or do you know what the reasoning behind these are?
Um, Off the top of my head, I know Volcarona lives the Scale Shot from Dragonite.
Hmm.
Um, that's pretty much the most important one. Sinistcha, again, for the entire time I've used it, I've actually swapped EV spreads all the time, depending
Okay.
on the format.
Yeah, it is. It is. I know Sinistcha has a very naturally high defense stat, but I always look at it as like it's interesting that you have nearly maxed out special defense um, when you're also boosting your special defense. So I am like, but I also like I really don't know my Sinistcha calcs off the top of my head, so I don't know how like what,
Mhm.
what the and I think honestly most people don't either, which is probably a big advantage where everyone's looking at the thing saying I don't know how this thing is trained or what it's supposed to live and whatnot.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess one of the off the top of my head is that I have a lot of Spadef, and it allows it to live modest Pella per Hurricane. I think that's like the big one where
Hmm.
against rain, people are gonna lead Pelipper looking because my team has three things beat the flying. So living Hurricane was definitely up there, as well as probably Golden Go Shadow Ball. I had to check that, but I think I live that as well. Just raw without the Terra. So
Yeah. Did you feel like the Sinistcha was something that you brought most of the time, or was it more of a matchup Pokemon?
I feel like I brought it to probably 90% of matches.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
even like when I go the Tailwind set, the like Tailwind mode with Volcarona or Chaladon, again, the way I kind of play it is I want to do as much damage with Chaladon, Primarina, Volcarona as possible, and then I want to kind of let Sinistcha be the end game on. Like, okay, you've taken out Primarina, but now you have to deal with a +3/+3 Sinistcha that you can't take out, and I'm not weak to fire, so.
Hmm. Yeah, that was what Mezzi was saying as well on Tub Takes when we recorded that. It was like, yeah, like once your team gets going, if you can't break it immediately, it's so hard to stop because once the Sinistcha gets going, it is impossible to break. Uh, yeah, so I guess the were there any other EV spreads that you wanted to talk about?
I mean, to me, they're pretty standard. I guess
Hmm.
like King Gambit, you know, it's in it's a lot more focused on attack. It is Swords Dance, so you would think maybe you want to invest more into bulk. But for me, um, I need it to be as strong as possible. So again, with a little bit of SPDF. Horiyama, nothing too much to say about this. Maxed out its special defense for the reasons I already said. Hatterene, Torkoal, it needs to live that. And I'm not even running Drain Punch, so I don't have a way to heal.
Hmm.
Um, Horiyama, I guess I'll say that. I was trying Drain Punch, but close combat really it's really like the better move. You need just want to do damage. You do like once you get Trick Room up, you have 4 turns to work, and you just need to do as much damage as possible. It used to be Guts, like I said. That version I was doing a lot more damage, but this one, because I'm thick fat, I kind of need to compensate for it. So close combat, knockoff, great utility, and then heavy slam, kind of like a filler move. This is theory to help against stuff like Clefable. It almost takes out Sneasler, which is funny. Hatterene as well. I can Terra Psychic and just heavy slam the thing, and then that's it. I'm forcing to follow me with side spam. So yeah, nothing.
Hmm.
To me, these EV spreads are pretty normal, but I guess maybe it's the first time you're seeing them. So
It is the first time I'm seeing them, and these are not like I don't know. I think it's like you say like, oh yeah, this is a normal Hariyama EV spread, but like I don't think there is a normal Hariyama EV spread. So yeah,
hey, put it in the damage calc now. Put it in the damage calc. This is the one.
okay, I'll take your word for it. Next time I run Hariyama, this is the EV spread that I will be using.
There we go. There we
Um,
go.
but yeah, okay. So what I really want to hear, and I think what everyone wants to hear, is how do you play this team? Because this is again, I think, and again, I would hate to sit across from you at a tournament, having never seen this before, look at it and say, I don't know what you were trying to do. I can sort of parse it out, right? You said it's a tail room team. You've got multiple different setup options. But talk me through what your normal game plans are, and if you have any specific game plans that you try to do against common teams, or if you just have modes that you try to use, or how do you play the team? Yeah.
Okay, well, again, I've already touched on it, but like two main modes, right? You got the Tailwind mode, or like the faster mode with Archaludon and Volcarona, and then stick to you can take the last 4 Pokemon, and that's like your Trick Room core, right? You can lead Sinistcha Hariyama, get Trick Room up, and then King Gambit Purina, do all the damage. Those are the main cores that I have. But if you want like common leads against the common teams, like Archaludon and Volcarona, like I said, that's that's really when you want to go fast and you want to take an Oko right away. You get something like a Dragonite or like a Pelipper. Yeah, Archaludon really helped me a lot more with the rain matchup. I didn't realize the rain matchup was as dire as it was, but again, like I said, having 3 things beat the flying, Pelipper is gonna want to come to that matchup 10 times out of 10.
Hmm.
So again, Archaludon Volcarona is really good. If you go the other way with Trick Room, it's like okay, you take Sinistcha and then either Hariyama or Volcarona. And then sometimes I do like to mix it up with like Archaludon and Sinistcha, where like okay, if they got nothing to prevent the Electro Shot, I can just Electro Shot, and then Sinistcha can maybe like stall a turn, not Trick Room yet, get a Strength Sap up or Calm Mind or something like that. And then maybe okay, if they're focusing down the Archaludon, they take it out, and then I bring in Hariyama, fake out Trick Room, and then suddenly I have a plus 1 or +2 calm minded up Sinistcha and a Hariyama in Trick Room, and then again, maybe my opponent's in dire straits. They don't know what to do against the Sinistcha. They've never played one like this. They've only played the Life Dew one or the Rage Rider one. So
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Were there any? I know you talked about rain a little bit. Were there any matchups that you thought were especially challenging, or matchups that you had to play in a very specific way that is different than how you normally play the team?
yeah, the one like problematic matchup that I kind of circled coming into Pittsburgh was the Shohei Kimura Annihilate Mousehold team with Golden Go, Blood Moon, and Rillaboom.
Hmm.
That one really it comes down to leads, and Mousehold Annihilate is one of the reasons why I swapped from Dragapult to a Chaladon because Dragapult really can't do much against Annihilate. I don't want to proc its Rage Fist or whatever, and then again I was trying to lead like Volcarona Dragapult into it, and it really wasn't working out for me. So our Chaladon being that sturdy means Annihilate cannot take it on one hit. I'm gonna be on the field. I'm gonna get my Electric Shot off, and yeah, because I think I mentioned it before, Sinistcha really I can't bring it to Annihilate.
Mhm.
Um, really, it's problematic. If I am bringing it, it's if I need trigger him up, and then it may even become a mind game of, do I Terra to predict the Rage Fist, or do I not, do I not Terra because I think they're just gonna bulk up or Drain Punch. So that one really was something that I had to prep harder into, and again, that's why the main reason why our Chaldon was put on the team.
Makes a lot of sense. Um, yeah, and then the other question that I have, that again you talked about a little earlier, you only have one protect on this team, and that's something that really stands out. And it sounds like protect is on the mon that you kind of put on at the last minute. I know you had no protects on your Baltimore team. Um, how did that? How do you play in a way where how do you play with that style of team? Because that is so foreign to me, and I feel like it makes repositioning so much more difficult when you don't have that ability to protect him on.
Yeah, so obviously I get what you're saying. Like, a team without protect doesn't feel natural. If
Mm-hmm.
you because you've been playing balanced teams all the time, it doesn't feel right. Like, surely my King Gambit should have protect. Surely Volcarona should run protect over one of those four moves. But to me, I always value utility as well as like flexibility, or like it's more so like role compression, where like my Volcarona can do damage, Tailwind, and Rage Powder. Sinistcha can Trick Room, it can Calm Mind, Live Forever, and also do damage with Calm Mind. King Gambit, probably the mon where um I was thinking of running Protect, but I do like the flexibility of Ironhead. Being mono dark on King Gambit really wasn't my cup of tea,
Mm-hmm.
pun intended. Um, and then Purina, Hariyama, they can't run Protect, so those were fine. But again, like I said, I was running Dragapult in the sixth slot, and Dragapult was choice banned. So yes, the team had no Protects for until 5 days before Pittsburgh. So was I okay with running no Protect? Of course. Like I said, like in Baltimore, I was running no Protect, and again, it just means you need to kind of stay one step ahead,
Mm-hmm.
since you know that you can't. There's like really less room for error. Where instead, like, okay, if your goal is to like stall out Tailwind or Trick Room, most of the time you're gonna say, okay, I can just double protect both my mons, stall a turn, and then kind of reposition afterwards. But this team doesn't have that luxury. Um, what it more so does is that I have to pressure with damage and I have to pressure with setup. I really think that's what sets my team apart from everyone else, is that I'm not trying to reposition. I'm more so just trying to find the best position offensive pressure. I'm trying to find the right opportunity to click SD, Calm Mind, Choice Specs, Moonblast, stuff like that. Trying to find the best way to go for Terra Electric, Electro Shot, all that kind of stuff. And funny enough, it just means that I can't run Protect because I've got too much. I've got too many support moves on this team now. So
Yeah, fair enough. And if it works, it works. And I think yeah, I think that if you protect is almost like a crutch in some ways, where yeah, like you said, if you are positioning very proactively and you know exactly where all your Pokemon need to be and you know your matchups really well, like you do because you've been using this team for so long, then I think you can get away with it. Yeah, because you. But whereas if you're picking up this team, I think people who are trying this team out might struggle because they don't you don't have any lag time to reposition at all. You always have to be, like you said, positioning very proactively. But yeah,
yeah, that's it. That's the key to the team. I think honestly.
yeah. So I guess any other advice that you'd give anyone who wants to try out this team?
for advice, I'd say don't be afraid to try and lead some things that you're not comfortable with.
Hmm.
All the time. Sometimes I try King Gambit Sinistcha. Sometimes Primarina Volcarona is great into some matchups. Primarina Sinistcha if you're expecting them to go slow. Yeah, that's all it is.
Awesome. Well, with that, let's talk about your tournament run because you had a fantastic run. You went, of course, X2 as one does to make top cut, and then made it all the way to finals. So tell me about your tournament experience and a couple of the highlight matches that you played.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh again. I was there 2 years ago at the regional. City's all right. I gotta like it. Me and my friends went to this really great Argentinian steakhouse on Friday. That place was fire. Definitely going back there if we get Pittsburgh regionals again. But anyway, so tournament day. Again, I'm sure you mentioned this yesterday about the long line, but anyway, I was able to get in there pretty early, around 8 a.m. and we were waiting for. No, sorry, I got in around. I got a line at 8 a.m. but I got into the venue about 8:20, 8:25, which is all right. So again, starting with my run. So again, we had that delay. It was about a 45-minute delay, but again, it was all good. I wasn't feeling tired or anything going into it. So the first couple of rounds, nothing too. Yeah,
There's more photos.
absolutely.
It really was pretty crazy.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah,
if you
yeah,
want
yeah.
if you want to hear more about that, we did talk about it a decent amount on Top Takes, which as of recording came out today. So, but I'm not sure when this will go out. So, but yeah, you know where it is. It'll be on the end screen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know where to find it. There you go. Okay. So within the first 3 rounds, again, nothing too big that happened. They were just kind of like matchups that I knew my lines into. Again, round one was like Fissure Yondozo, but that was mostly like a tailwind team, so that was fine. Round three was actually again one of those problematic matchups that I was trying to be better at. Again, it has the Black Glasses King Gambit, but it's actually Terra Flying, which honestly is kind of worse for my team because it has a way to hit Hariyama. Or no, it doesn't have. Sorry, it doesn't have Terra Blast Flying.
Interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking of another team. Yeah, it's Terra Flying, but no coverage. So yeah, Mono Dark King Gambit, something that I did prep into, and 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 yeah, I actually won this set 2-0. I think I took advantage of the Sneasel not having protect, and I was able to kind of get trick him up and then bring in Primarina and kind of beat the Sneasler before it can do any shenanigans to me. And the fact that it was Magma over Electabuzz made Primarina a lot more freer. I just had to kind of like deal with Rillaboom first, and then Primarina kind of does its job, honestly.
Yeah. This team picking up popularity. I know Rushel top cut with this team. This was the team that I was going to bring more or less to the tournament if I was able to go. So yeah, definitely good to see coming into the metagame and get to see to winning against that.
Yeah, no, I respect King Gambit. I've used it all format.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good
Of
team.
course.
It's a good mod.
Fellow King Gambit brother. Anyway, uh round four you can see it's up against the Glistor team. So this team I knew of it coming in, but I didn't know my matchup into it. Again,
Hmm.
it has the Sinistcha, but it's the Salt Vest. So which is a crazy set. Like coming from me, like I
Yeah,
think me personally, I think my calm mindset is super awesome. But Hospitality Assault Vest actually good, and it pairs really well with your Chaladon, which you can see is also the Terra Electric Electro Shot.
hmm,
Although it was stalwart instead of sturdy, which is kind of cool. So again, this one I didn't know my matchup coming into it, but I was able to maneuver it around, and Sinistcha actually did really well here.
yeah. I can see this team struggling to break your Sinistcha. Definitely.
hmm for sure. Going on next, so round 5 and 6, you can see it's against the same team. It's against the Elizabeth Rain team.
Yeah,
Um,
I see that no, you didn't play Chris Hahn on stream. You played Chris played Justin on stream. Sorry.
yeah. We were round 6. We were both 5-0, but yeah, they didn't pull us for that stream.
But yeah, this was your first loss of the tournament, and you just beaten it the previous round. Of course, I think Chris
Yeah,
is crazy good. So Uh, so there may be a difference between the two players. No disrespect to Tyler. But yeah, tell me about how these two matchups went.
hmm So the first match against Tyler, I think he really didn't know what to do. Like all credit to him, he tried his best. Um, but he was really trying some things. In game two, he leads Golden Go and goes to like the Terra Water Terra Blast into Volcarona. But I live because I struck. But I just like raw lived with Volcarona, like no struggle bug or anything. I
Okay.
just lived the Terra Water Water Blast,
In
and
rain.
then from there, no, it wasn't rain actually.
Okay.
No,
Okay. I was gonna
so
say that
that's
sounds crazy. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it was Dragon. It was Dragonite Golden Go lead. But one of the main one of the tools that I use against this team is what I and I caught Chris Hahn with it on turn one of game one. Is that he let Dragonite Archalon, I'm pretty sure,
Hmm.
and what I did was just I struggle bug to break Motherstale and Dragonite, and then I go Terra Electric Electro Shot, and that actually picks up Dragonite. That's something that I found out maybe like 2 days before Pittsburgh. Like, hey, this just takes out Dragonite. So for sure, I had it in my back pocket, and I even caught him going Terra Fairy turn one with it, and it just took him out. And from there, he really couldn't recover from that because like without Dragonite, you kind of struggled to take out Volcarona. I know
Hmm.
he had like Pelipper or Chaladon, Sinistcha in the back, but from those three, you're having a hard time trying to beat King Gambit or Sinistcha in the back. So game one did really well, but then game two he adjusted a lot better than my previous opponent, leading Ursaluna Dragonite and kind of just going Terra Ghost Earthquake into Archaludon Volcarona, and that just did too much damage to me. So I kind of had to regroup game three. So game three, I kind of went back to the trick room mode, and game three actually came down to Ursaluna versus Hariyama because I brought Hariyama in the back instead of King Gambit, but I brought it to an end game of Sinistcha, his Sinistcha, Ursaluna, Terra Ghost versus my Sinistcha and Hariyama, but Hariyama couldn't break both ghost types. But if I brought King Gambit, I feel like I would have won that game, but
Hmm.
we live and learn about that. Okay, so against after losing Chris Hanrod, I'm 5-1, so it's okay. I just need one more for top cut. My next round is against Ian Holdeman. So Ian Holdeman is actually someone I fought on stream back in Vancouver for the winning in, which is kind of funny. So again, we're playing another winning in together.
Hmm.
Um, this one, so again, it's Dragonite, Ursaluna, Golden Go kind of stuff with a Moongus this time. And this team just kind of folded to Sinistcha King Gambit. Uh, as soon as I got rid of the Sneasler, I kind Sinistcha just kind of walked through. He was trying to bring Golden Go, but I was like +2 calm minded and then I Terra Dark, and Golden Go couldn't break through Sinistcha, and then I had King Gambit, which does really well here because the goggles ignores the Moongus and it kind of beats everything. I just have to play around that vacuum wave on Blood Moon. But apart from that, this was a 2-0 game for me, and I felt really, really good about the techs on my team for this one.
Yeah. It sounds like this is a pretty favorable matchup for you. The way you described it, at least. Which I think this team was like the team to beat going into Reg Age Part Two, other than maybe Rain. I feel like it was everywhere at the end of Reg Age. I feel like it's fallen off a lot. I feel like it hasn't done very well, which is kind of strange. I'm a little I guess I don't know exactly why that's happened. I'm trying to find who the best performing player who used this team was at Pittsburgh, and I don't know if anyone made day two with it, which is crazy. Which is crazy because yeah, I
Yep.
think Ian was the best performing player on this team, which is crazy because this team was everywhere for a little bit. Um,
Well, I did play the team in day two. We'll get to that. Justin
okay.
Miranda Radberg, shout out. We'll get to
Oh,
that
I missed him.
eventually. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
keep going.
There you go. I think he was the best player on that team.
He
But anyway,
was. Yeah, yeah.
So I beat Ian, so it's 6-1, and then it's basically okay, all for glory now, trying to improve my record for day two. Facing against Tanner, so he's running this Dondozo team, and I have my Dondozo checks. Um, he kind of realized game one where he let in Ndidi Sneasler, and then I kind of got Trick Room up, KO'd Ndidi, brings in Dozo, and then he kind of realized that he can't beat Strength Sap Sinistcha because I just heal up every time. And then I bring in Primarina and I output Moonblast damage, and really, it's kind of like Dondo's is like playing against the clock, where it's either you're gonna get KO'd by Moonblast or you have to find a way to take out Primarina. But I'm clicking Strength Sap every turn, so uh, really an uphill struggle for Dondozo, I feel, if I get positioned correctly.
Mm-hmm. Sinistcha is like single best mod is Dozo. For I know this Sinistcha is a little different, but yeah, wow, that I don't know how Dozo is ever supposed to crack a strength sap Sinistcha.
Yeah, like for those thinking I need Haze on Primarina for this matchup, you don't. Like you just go Sinistcha and you just need to do damage with Primarina. Like it's not there to click Haze.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna Haze Wheel, you call Mind Boost. That's not good. Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So.
yeah, going 7-1 into day two, felt really good about the team. Everything was working well. I didn't run to a single Annihilate in day one, which is crazy to me. I thought for sure I'd see one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so going into day two, I will shout out real quick. There was a lot of Canadians day two. My friend Jeremy from Quebec went in 8-0. Marcus Dion 8-0. Justin Miranda Radboard 7-1. Like we were doing really well going into day two. So shout out to those guys.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, y'all, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up the Canadian results on. Here we go. Here we go. Shout out to Team Canada. Look at this. Is it? The Lev did really well. Scott did really well. Yeah, yeah. Y'all had a day. Like that's
Yeah,
like
the
8 in
homies,
day
man.
two, 9 in day two. Yeah, yeah. A really strong performance from Team Canada. But yeah, so you
Yeah,
made it to day two, 7-1. You said you're feeling pretty good. But now, so I guess this is the first tournament in North America with this new Swiss Plus One format, where we have 12 rounds. So now, instead of going into it saying, "Oh, I just got to win," uh, I think it used to be 2 out of the next 3. Now you got to win
yeah. It
three
was
out
a
of the
two out
next
of three.
4. So at this point, were you thinking, I just got to win 3 more, or what was going through your head going into the start of day two?
That's the mindset I needed. Just 3 more wins and then I get top cut. But to me, in my day in my day two history, round one of day two or round nine is always the toughest. I always feel like I think I've always lost round one of day two. Uh, yeah, even going back to Toronto, even going back to Vancouver 2023, I've always lost round one. So for me, the big hurdle was that first round.
Mm-hmm.
Up against Rain, you can see here with Bastille Legion, and this one went better than I expected. Um, I leaned heavy into our Chaldon this game, and I think both games Peter kind of leaned into Golden Go more than Bastille Legion. He didn't bring Bastille Legion either game, which I feel wasn't the best move.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of our Chaldon was just kind of got to go on a run. Honestly, um, if you don't lead Bastille Legion, there's really nothing to stop Volcarona. And I guess maybe me leading Volcarona into Rain isn't something you think I do, but I kind of do it all the time because it's there to kind of break the focus sash on Pelipper as well as lower the special attack of Archelodon. So maybe I caught him off guard with that, but Archelodon proven its worth. Uh,
Yeah.
definitely proven its worth. Definitely when they give me rain, it's like okay, cool. I got free electro shots for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that one was smoothly. So again, I'm feeling confident, right? And then round 10, I paired against Justin, and again, Justin's a good friend of mine. Um, but this, like I said, I have my lines into this team. I played it in day one, and here again, I think game one, I played a little poorly, and I kind of got bailed out by a stale shot miss. into my Sinistcha, where I kind of predicted him not to double it up. But he missed a steal shot, and I got trick room up, and that kind of really put the game into my favor. But then game two, I swapped the Archeladon Volcarona lead because I noticed that his Sneasler doesn't have protect, so he would lead Sneasler Dragonite, uh, both game one and game two, and I caught him with the Terra Fairy Dragonite, and I got him with the Terra Electric Electro Shot, uh, to just claim Dragonite and Terra right away. And from there, he really couldn't recover. So
Yeah. So at this point, 9-1 after 10 rounds, one more win into top cut. Uh, yeah. So talk me through how you feeling and what happened next.
so right 9-1, so I got two chances to make top cut, and then they pulled me for the stream match. Right, I'm against Ichun, and I didn't know what he was running. Obviously, we saw the teams, but I saw that okay, it's very similar to Dawei's team that was on stream in day one.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I felt, it's more Dragonite stuff. I felt like my matchup was pretty okay into this. Um, I think on stream you saw game one, maybe I didn't position correctly, and then game two, I feel like I did a lot better job. And then the freeze god said, "No, not today," when I got double frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess it was more so like the adrenaline on stream. I didn't feel like my day was like ruined. Being double frozen on stream. Some people might crumble to that or tilt, but to me, it's like okay, I still got one more round. I can still do this.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I thought that I had a good matchup into this team, but freezes happen. I've learned to deal with them, and yeah, I was more so just giving the next round as fast as possible, and then try and see if I've got enough steam to make top cut.
Yeah. And so last round, winning in, playing against Henry Rich, very very good player, Australian player. Yeah, talk me through what happened here.
Yeah, so when I saw Henry Rich, I was like, this, like, I need to win this. Looking at this team, this is one of the teams that I should be very favored into. Because basically his only way of breaking Sinistcha is going to be with the Golden Go. Porygon 2 can't break it. Amoonguss can't break it. Ursaluna can't break it. Incineroar can do its best, but it can't, especially because it's Assault Vest here. It can't even Party Shot to lower my special attack. So going to this one, I was like, I need to put all the chips into the Sinistcha basket, and game one, I did exactly that. I got Sinistcha up to +6/+6 and just unkillable. Game two, he switches to the Golden Go Kilowattrel mode, and then he just double attacks Sinistcha turn one as I'm trying to get Trick Room up, and I get flinched. So that was unfortunate. And then game three, really close game, and I was able to pull it off. But shout out to Henry, good friend of mine, really good sport about it, even if he could have played better. So yeah, shout out to Henry, and with that, I got my first top cut
Yeah,
in forever, which is crazy.
absolutely. Yeah, and so yeah, into top cut, this brand new top 16 cut system, and you are facing off against, like I mentioned, your old rival from Baltimore. I think you played him on stream, I believe, this round too. So
Yeah,
second time you played Ofamezi on stream. Last time didn't go so hot. Well, you were using basically this version one of this team. Yeah, tell me about. I know this was on stream, but yeah, tell me about this matchup from your perspective.
yeah. So context for that, Ofamezi destroyed me in Baltimore, with using this Assault Vest Dragonite with Coaching Annihilate, and I literally, that was like the worst matchup I could have pulled. I had no answer for this Terra Flying Terra Blast Dragonite. But hey, different story this time. Still on the Dragonite, but this one I'm a lot more favored into. Uh, but yeah, this one, I know Ofemezio might have been like, I don't know what doing into Tid's team. It's super weird, but like kind of the same into his. He's got that mirror herb Incineroar, which really means like can't lead King Gambit. The mouse hold with taunt. I really feel like he played game one super well. Like he was bringing Whimsicott, and his plan was to like knock off the Sinistcha, and then he could Encore lock me with Whimsicott, which I didn't realize until he brought Whimsicott. I was like, oh, my Metal Herb is knocked off. He can Encore me. Same with Mousehold, right? It was able to taunt me in the end game of game one, and it forced me to keep attacking Dragonite. And then game one ends in Dragonite versus Sinistcha, and I just needed Dragonite to hit itself in confusion one time, but it didn't. It never happened. So the odds on that, I don't know. That's Pokemon for you. Game two, um, felt a lot better. I brought Volcarona this time, and yeah, I just had to play the end game of like Sinistcha, King Gambit had to kind of had to kind of pull it out. Terra Ghost on King Gambit was super super good here, so that I couldn't just die to Population Bomb or Extreme Speed. He went Terra Normal with his Dragonite, uh, and I caught it with the Flame Body and Volcarona, which really helped me out in the end game. And then game three, he swaps it up by going Bastille Legion. And this is like, okay, he's either dropped Whimsicott or Mousehold. And this one's that I felt a lot better into this because I knew I had King Gambit in the back that could sucker punch it at any time. And I kind of just had to bait the Terra on one of his mons before. That's why it might seem weird, but I went for the hyper voice into Incineroar Mousehold because I knew it would pick up Mousehold, and it would force the Terra on instant because once I get rid of Mousehold, his team would have no protects if we didn't bring Whimsicott. So for sure, I knew I had to just stick to my guns, big damage with Primarina, and I was able to pull it out.
Hmm. Yeah. So now into top eight, and the Boogeyman, the team that you were so scared of facing with your Louisville team. This is the reason that you switched back to this team. How'd you match up against Vincent Go or Vincenzo Go?
Yeah, so Vincenzo, this one was actually when I looked at the team sheet before playing. The one thing that really annoyed me with this team was Covert Cloak Volcarona. Because it's Covert Cloak, I can't struggle bug it. So I'm kind of forced to go. I'm forced to not bring Volcarona and try and find another way to beat Volcarona. Because one of the ways that I did try and testing was just either I just go Tailwind with Primarina and uh, pressure it with Hyper Voice, or I can just struggle bug it down a bunch while I'm Calm Mining with Sinistcha, and then I'm gonna eventually win the 1v1. As long as I do enough damage to Volcarona and leave the partners alone. But for this one, really intense set. We both kind of switched up our game plans every game. Like game one, he leads Volcarona. Um, I was able to get to position Primarina in well, get damage on it with Hyper Voice, force the Terra, um, and kind of have Horiyama did actually really well in that game. I got triggered up with Horiyama. Primarina came in, Haruna came back in. Great into King Gambit. Before it could get a Swords Dance up, I was able to take it out. So that worked really well. And then game two, I swapped to Archelodon Volcarona mode, expecting to catch him kind of going for the King Gambit mode, and he decided to leave Volcarona behind and go like with the King Gambit, Sneasler, Rillaboom, Electabuzz, and I think one thing that he caught me off guard with was he went for the coaching into Terrify Rillaboom. Um, and then once their Challenge was down, I couldn't do enough damage to the Rillaboom with Hariyama because of the coaching boost.
Hmm.
And then it all came down to game three, and I'm pretty sure he went with the same four that he brought with the Rillaboom, Sneasler, King Gambit, and Electabuzz. And I know turn one, I stress zapped into Rillaboom as he swapped it into King Gambit as I flamethrower the Sneasler, and he got the Defiant boost of +1 basically. And then basically the game came down to I need to burn the King Gambit, otherwise it's just gonna Terror Dark destroy my entire team. So I had to basically the next turn I Machagacha and Rage Powder with Volcarona. Flame Body doesn't activate. Machagacha doesn't activate. Um, and then next turn I bring in Hariyama. I click Fake Out Machagacha again, and I was able to get the burn this time. So that really helped me in this game. I know it feels like the entire game came down to Machagacha burn, but I clicked it twice and he avoided the flame body with the Volcarona. So I feel like my odds uh, were pretty good in that scenario, and it definitely turned the tide of the game for that one.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something to be said about. I always say this about teams. There are teams that are built to get lucky, and there are teams that are inherently unlucky, right? Like your team does not have any moves that can miss, except for I think Hydro Cannon can miss. That might be the only one.
Uh, Machagacha and
Right.
Hydro Cannon, yeah.
Machagacha, yes, of course.
Machagacha.
And you've got and you've got the opportunity to get lucky with you got multiple opportunities to get burns between Flame Body and Machagacha. So like, yeah, of course you're gonna win some games because you get burns. You're also not going to frequently lose games because you get unlucky, and I think that like is something to think about when you are choosing a team, especially in a volatile format like this one. And so even though you maybe got a little lucky to win the set, like yeah, over the course of a tournament, you were inevitably going to win some games due to getting burns, right? Like that's just how the math works out.
Yeah, that's it. That's how I approached it. And especially like you said, like it's also about kind of mitigation of trying to limit the amount of hacks that can happen on you. What I really liked about our Chaladon, like our Chaladon Volcarona lead, is 100% immune to Dire Claw. Because I'm Cobra Cloak on the Volcarona. So like, I can lead those two into Sneasler and not be worried about anything, uh, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you won that, and then in top four, played a team that you played a couple times already. You with Dylan Matthews on the Elizabeth Rain team. So how'd this one go down?
So looking at this team, yeah. So it's like the Elizabeth Reign, but it's got the Bastille Legion over the Dragonite pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And Bastille Legion was a problem for me in testing, especially when I was on that Dragapult version. I just couldn't have speed in rain, and it could just like kind of choose one. It can take a Volcarona, take a Dragapult, take out. It can't take a Sinistcha turn one because Last Strike is only 50 damage. But going to this, I definitely knew I had to rely on the Tricker mode. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had to stick with it. And I feel like the games on stream were actually like really fast. It basically just came down to if Dylan could outlast my Trick Room in game one and game three. And what he was trying to do is just get our Chaladon in Trick Room and then heal it up with Sinistcha as much as you can before it can be KO'd. But my Primarina came in clutch. It had the Terra Grass in front of the Archaladon, took the Electro Shot, and then it was still able to 2 KO the Archaladon through the Hospitality, which again is one of the main reasons why your choice specs why I can't deviate from another item, because when it's in Trick Room, I know Archaladon can't protect. All it can do is Electro Shot me, but I'm fine with burning my Terra, especially because I had the Terra Grass means that Moonblast can't be redirected by Sinistcha. So that's another added benefit of it. And then in game three.
Wait, Moonblast can be redirected by Sinistcha? Are you sure? We should try it out. Sorry, go ahead.
Not if I'm Terra Grass. Not if I'm Terra Grass. Anyway. Yeah.
because I think that happened, right? They did they rage pattern in front of two grass types. Was that the match
Yeah,
that
they
happened?
rage
Yeah.
pattern in front of two grass types. Yeah.
I saw
Uh,
a lot of people clouding on that online. So, but yeah, yeah. I'm curious. Did you what was your reaction when you saw that?
my reaction was like, oh, I guess he's not going for the burn. But because I think he had to go for the burn there with Machagacha.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, maybe just a brain fart on his side.
Yep.
Um, that's what I think. But in that game anyway, I had King Gambit in the back, so it was like King Gambit. All I really needed to do was break the focus sash on Pelipper, and
Hmm.
then King Gambit just beats Bastille Legion, Sinistcha, and Pelipper. And again, I'm safety goggles on Gambit, so he can't even Rage Powder with the Sucker Punch.
Hmm.
So no, I still felt even if he did go for the Machagacha or any other move or Trick Room or anything, I still think I win that game. So
Yeah. No, you were definitely in a good spot at that point.
mhm.
Sorry, you talking about game three. I don't know if you had anything else to say before I jumped ahead a little bit.
No, I mean game three kind of went very similar to game one. But the one change that Dylan did was I bring in Primarina in front of our child on Bastille Legion, and I just Terra Grass, Moonblast, Deer Shallow because I needed to KO it, like I just said. And instead of swapping Bastille Legion to Sinistcha this time, he stays in and goes to the Wave Crash. And the Primarina lives on like 2 HP. Super hype moment on the stream. But I was like, man, if he just Terra Watered the Bastille Legion, I was toast. There was nothing I could have done to that. I would have just had to rely on King Gambit Sinistcha in the back, but I'd given I'd given Archelon uh two two stamina boosts already, so it would have been a really uphill climb, and I couldn't have teared my King Gambit out of the body press. So I was really fortunate Pyramid would live. I just stuck to my instincts, hoping that I'd live that. Um, and again, we ended up seeing the terror on Pelipper in that game. But because I got the Combine boost up with Sinistcha, it actually survived the Hurricane. So that felt really really good for me there. And then next thing I know, I'm in finals. Right? It seems like a dream.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, I've never been there, so I couldn't say. I can't speak to it. But yeah, so you played the finals. You played against Chepa Cross. Of course, you played the same six Pokemon in Ophamesi in top 16, but obviously very different sets all across the board. Uh, what was your thought process going into finals? And yeah, tell me about that set from your perspective.
So looking at Chupa's team, right? The first thing that pops up is the Terra Steel Golden Go, right, with the mouse hold, and
Hmm.
like so I knew that like the main point of this mouse hold was the Super Fang things to put them in range of Terra Steel Make It Rain. So for sure, I was thinking, okay, maybe just gonna go try and beat my Trick Room core with Terra Steel Golden Go. So usually my go-to lead for Golden Go is Volcarona because I can just either struggle bug it or in this case, because it's not Terra Water, I can just pressure with Flamethrower. So game one, I knew what my lead was, but it was the Pokemon in the back that I feel like I misplayed because I brought Sinistcha King Gambit in the back, and what ended up happening in game one is that Chupa didn't lead or Chupa didn't bring either one of his two water resists in Dragonite and Bastille Legion.
Hmm.
And I realized this a bit too late because I struggle bug a bunch. Finally, our challenge goes down, and then I'm just like, wait a minute. If I put Arena in the back, I can just hyper voice his entire team. But I didn't have it, so I kind of had to go with the do my best with King Gambit Sinistcha in the back. And the Ursuna was a bit too problematic for me because I guess I didn't notice in time, but it was Terra Fire instead of the usual Terra Water that I'm used to. So that really like threw a wrench in the road for me. Um, because like Terra Fire means you can't Terra out of the Hyper Voice, so maybe that was a misstep by me. But uh, I adjusted game two. I'm like, okay, now I know that Primarina can do well here. It's just a matter of getting in position. So again, it's either do I go Tailwind mode or do I go Trick Room mode? So I decided to stick to Archelodon, and I tried to catch Choppa with the Terra Electric Electro Shot into Dragonite, but he swapped Incineroar for Mousehold, and I was very sad because it lived. Um, and then he got kind of like a free Tailwind up before I could get mine up. So that that game became tougher than I intended, but I was able to kind of claw it back, and I did bring it to an end game where I feel like if I made better plays, I could have sealed it up, but maybe it was the fatigue from the long day or something. But
Mhm.
uh, anyway, good games to Chuppa. He played really well. He played better than me, so you know,
Uh, yeah, and like you said, it's I think that this is a big stage. It's a long weekend. You played this your 16th round of Pokemon, I think, over the course of the weekend.
mhm.
And Choppa's been here before, right? He's a former regional champion already. So he's familiar with this. He kind of knows what knows how to feel in the situation. Uh, and yeah, I guess it's a for and I guess he's also lost a lot of regional finals too. So he definitely knows how to, how to what it's like to be in that situation. So yeah, it's definitely understandable, and I think he played really well, and obviously played really well over the course of the entire weekend, and had a really, really incredible run with a team that is nothing like anything that we have ever seen anyone use, other than you specifically. So, I'm glad that you are sharing this team. I'm glad that you did so well with it and got to put on a show all weekend. Huge congratulations. Did you have any final words or shoutouts that you wanted to give?
Yeah, man, this is Tid Room. That's all I gotta say. So shoutouts, I mean, all the Canadians for all the support. Again, my friend Jack, Twisted Gengar, he really helped me with deciding the last couple things on this team. Uh, when I told him Terra Psychic on Hariyama, he was like, "You know what? Go for it. Go for it." Archelodon, he helped me test it out. Really, really good mon. Now I know why people like using this. Yeah, again, I already shouted the Canadians. Jeremy Cote, incredible run. Dude is like very underrated. Because again, back up in Canada, like he doesn't go to many regionals, but he for sure is going full steam ahead for this year. And then yeah, shout out to Ryan, Gabe, and Zengel for the weekend. You guys are champs.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it, and I think everyone learned a lot about Sinistcha and Hariyama and a lot of Pokemon that, again, I haven't even thought about using over the course of this format. So I feel like this is awesome. Yeah, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, thank you all for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later.